Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Canto 4, Chapter 12, text number 51. Due to time constraints, I'm going to read the verse and we'll just do the word for word. I will just do the word for word and the translation and purport. Jnanam, knowledge. Agyata tatvaya, to those who are unaware of the truth. Ya, one who. Dadyat, imparts. Satpate, on the path of truth. Amritam, immortality. Kripalo, kind. Dinanatasya, protector of the poor. Deva, the demigods. Tasya, to him. Anugrinate, give blessings. Translation. The narration of Dhruva Maharaj is sublime knowledge for the attainment of immortality. Persons unaware of the absolute truth can be led to the path of truth. Those who are out of transcendental kindness take on the responsibility of becoming master protectors of the poor living entities, automatically gain the interest and blessings of the demigods. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jnanam Agyata means knowledge which is unknown almost throughout the entire world. No one knows actually what is the absolute truth. Materialists are very proud of their advancement in education, in philosophical speculation, and in scientific knowledge, but no one actually knows what the absolute truth is. The great sage Maitreya therefore recommends that to enlighten people about the absolute truth, tattva, devotees should preach the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the entire world. Srila Vyasadeva especially compiled this great literature of scientific knowledge because people are completely unaware of the absolute truth. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, it is said that Vyasadeva, the learned sage, compiled this great Bhagavat Purana just to stop the ignorance of the mass of people. Because people do not know the absolute truth. This Srimad Bhagavatam was specifically compiled by Vyasadeva under the instruction of Narada. Generally, even though people are interested in understanding the truth, they take to speculation and reach at most the conception of impersonal Brahman. But very few men actually know the personality of Godhead. Recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam is specifically meant to enlighten people about the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although there is no fundamental difference between impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the Supreme Person, factual immortality cannot be obtained unless and until one attains a stage of associating with the Supreme Person. Devotional service which lead to the association of the Supreme Lord is actual immortality. Pure devotees, out of compassion for the fallen souls, are kripalu, very kind to people in general. They distribute this Bhagavat knowledge all over the world. A kind-hearted devotee is called Dinanath, protector of the poor, ignorant mass of people. Lord Krishna is also known as Dinanath or Dinabandhu, the master of actual friend of the poor living entities, and his pure devotees also take the same position of Dinanath. The Dinanaths or devotees of Lord Krishna who preach the path of devotional service become the favorites of the demigods. Generally, people are interested in worshipping the demigods, especially Lord Shiva, in order to obtain material benefits. But a pure devotee who engages in preaching the principles of devotional service, as prescribed in Srimad Bhagavatam, does not need to separately worship the demigods. The demigods are automatically pleased with him and offer all the blessings within their capacity. As by watering the root of a tree, the leaves and branches are automatically watered, so by executing pure devotional service to the Lord, the branches, the twigs and leaves of the Lord, known as demigods, are automatically pleased with the devotee, and they offer all benedictions. The text again, I'll just read the text and we'll comment. The narration of Dhruva Maharaj is sublime knowledge for the attainment of immortality. Persons unaware of the absolute truth can be led to the path of truth. Those who are out of transcendental kindness take on the responsibility of becoming master protectors of the poor living entities, automatically gain the interest and blessings of the demigods. So this is a lengthy purport by Srila Prabhupada, and the verses from 44 to 52 is the Falashruti, the benediction one get by hearing this pastime. This is what the verses are from 44 to 52. What benediction you will get from hearing the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. Now when you look into the verse itself, and Prabhupada elaborates on the purport, it's for the sublime knowledge for attainment of immortality. So when you hear the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj, it makes you immortal. It means, what does immortal mean? No death. Right? Immortal. So when you hear the pastime, this is what happens. You become immortal, and then you'll say, well, we will die. But no, it's not like that. When you're hearing the pastimes, you're always absorbed in Krishna consciousness. You're always absorbed in the pastimes of Krishna, which is our goal. And it says here that many persons are unaware of the absolute truth. And there are three phases of the absolute truth: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. In the Srimad Bhagavatam in 1 to 11, Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 11, it says there's non-dual substance. We call it Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. The absolute truth is known in these three phases. Now sometimes as devotees, when we're preaching to people, when they say, I want to reach the impersonal Brahman, they say, hey, what's wrong with you? That is wrong. We hear devotees speak like that. But that's not wrong, because that's a partial realization of the absolute truth. So if somebody wants to go to the Brahman platform and enter the effulgence of Krishna, then that's also okay, because it's partial realization. And some people desire to enter the Brahman platform. So we cannot say it is wrong, because if we say that, then we are saying that the absolute truth is incomplete. But these three phases make Krishna complete, the absolute truth, God, the absolute truth. And it says, can be led to the path of truth. So gradually somebody who is practicing even the impersonal aspect of God and want to merge into the Brahman, in the impersonal Brahman, can still be led to the absolute truth and knowing Krishna in full. He may meet the, get, and Prabhupada elaborates the reason. No, it's there in the verse itself. Those who, out of transcendental kindness, take on the responsibility of becoming master protectors of the poor living entities. So that, the devotee can lead, the impersonalist to become a personalist. Now, the other point, is that, okay, if somebody goes to the Brahman platform, can he go back to Godhead if he enters the effulgence? Yes or no? What do you think? If he enters into the effulgence, can he go back to Godhead? Huh? Our sadhu there? He can go back. He can go from the impersonal aspect to the spiritual world also. There it's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam in one of the purports where Prabhupada says 99.9% of the time the person will fall down. But there is a small percentage that says, it's 0.1% that you can go back to Godhead. Isn't it? So if 99.9% fall down, there is a small percentage that can still go back to Godhead from the impersonal aspect. So therefore we have to be cautious when we're preaching Krishna consciousness to people that we don't tell the wrong things. Because then that the absolute truth becomes incomplete in that sense. And there in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there are different phases. Prabhupada described the different phases of the absolute truth. And he compares it to the sun. You remember that? It's here in the second chapter, in the purport, in text 1. We'll just look at it, yeah. Vadanti tat tatva vidas tatvat yad jnanam advayam brahmatmi paramatmi bhagavan iti sabhadyate. And then he goes on to describe those three aspects, and he compares it to the sunshine, these divine aspects. The sunshine, the sun surface, and the sun planet. So the sunshine is like the Brahman, the sun surface is like the Paramatma, and the sun planet is compared to the Bhagavan feature. So there's three features. The effulgence, the sun surface, and the planet itself. So the person who enters the Brahman is doesn't get the full benefit of Krishna consciousness, doesn't associate with the Lord directly in the sense that face to face. But the person who enters the sun surface is compared to the Paramatma realization. He gets more of a realization. He sees the Paramatma feature. But the person who enters the planet, he sees the Supreme Lord face to face. And then Prabhupada goes on, I'll just summarize it. He goes on to explain that there's different levels, like when you compare it to going to school. You have like primary school, Shishi Radha Radhanath Ki. So it's compared to a student. A student maybe in primary school, then he goes to high school, and then he goes for tertiary education. They're all students, but they're on different levels. So a devotee tries to lead the person, an impersonalist, to the personal, realizing the absolute truth, and that's what is Prabhupada is speaking in the purport. How a devotee can be led to the absolute truth. And then going back to the purport of the Bhagavatam, Jnana Agyata means knowledge which is unknown almost throughout the entire world. And then Prabhupada goes on to speak about education, philosophy, because people are very proud of their education. We go to universities, we will be going just now to the campus. The people are very proud of their education. Oh, I have my master's degree. I was saying that one fellow was saying me that I asked him, what is studying, one student? He said, I'm studying BA. I reckon in short form it's BAD, bad. Bachelor of Arts degree, it is bad. Oh, he realizes it's bad. But they say BA, but they don't add the D. So it's bad. Actually, it's bad. So they get this material knowledge and they're very proud of it. But they fail to realize the absolute truth. And therefore, here it is mentioned in the purport Prabhupada is saying, talking about the Srimad Bhagavatam. Like giving this message of the Srimad Bhagavatam to other people. But you know what the trick is? The trick is you must know how to present it. You can give the same information in a very simple way. And I was explaining, one devotee was asking me, how do you do this? How do you manage to speak to the person and what do you say? I said, well, I first find out what they want to know. About their own life. So you kind of relate their life and bring it in line with the scripture gradually as you're conversing with them. Because to just dive into the philosophy directly may be a little, overwhelming for the person. So you ask, how's the family? What do you do? What do you study? Things like that. So the person, what happens, he kinds of feel that you're very interested in him, and you must be. You must, you want the best for him, and what is the best for him? To give him Krishna. So like that, when you show care, then you think this person, let me hear him, what he's saying. So then he start opening his heart, and then he'll be telling you so many, and then you tell him, and then you help him through the process of connecting the Bhagavatam with what he's saying or what he's speaking about. And that requires, it's an art, how to do it. So Vyasadeva, when he compiled his literature, the whole idea was to, people were ignorant, and to the masses, they're largely ignorant. And there's different ways to preach to them. Like yesterday we went to the township, African township there, and we were distributing prasadam. And Indudumna Swami was so expert in just captivating them and engaging them. And then he was saying that, the people here can't even afford to buy a book. But here we give them prasadam. And this is what Prabhupada recommended for them, to give them prasadam. Because the prasadams start purifying them, then they look into gradually as they become purified, then they led to the truth. This is what he's talking about. You're led to the path of truth. And then Prabhupada speaks in the first canto of Vyasadeva, when he compiled this Bhagavad Purana. And he compiled it under the instruction of Narada. And Narada Muni was he's expert, he's the spiritual master. And we can learn from this that he followed the instruction of the spiritual master. And sometimes devotees feel dissatisfied. After practicing maybe for many years, they feel that there's something lacking in their practices. And they feel a little demotivated. But we have to learn from Vyasudev and Narada Muni. Narada Muni detected that and told him, well, what the shortcoming was. And what is the shortcoming? What was it? That he haven't compiled, or he didn't discuss the pastimes of Krishna. He was catering mainly for the masses. So you have mass and you have class. We preach sometimes to masses and we don't preach to class. So therefore, when you go to university, we're looking at we categorize that as classy people. And when we're doing the Food for Life and we're going around into the African townships, then we're reaching the masses. But to preach to the class is important. It's very important. We have a board, we make them write what their interests are. The students come and express themselves. So the Bhagavatam, where the way it was presented, it was for like mass. How to enjoy your senses, and it's mainly dealing with the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, the impersonal aspect, but it didn't really touch on that personal aspect of the absolute truth. And therefore, Narada Muni pointed that out. And was trying to bring Vyasudev to the point of delving deeper into the absolute truth. Now, what is the purpose of the Bhagavatam? What is the purpose? It's basically to enlighten people. All our scriptures are meant to enlighten people. And here Prabhupada makes some very important points, I thought, as I was reading it. Recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam is specifically meant to enlighten people about the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although there is no fundamental difference between impersonal Brahman, local Paramatma, and the Supreme Person. Factual immortality cannot be obtained unless and until one attains the stage of associating with the Supreme Person. Devotional service which leads to the association with the Supreme Lord is actual immortality. Therefore, when you engage in devotional service, it makes you immortal because it's eternal. The fact that we engage in devotional service, anything we do, any little thing we do, we take the lamp around, we take the flowers around, we take the incense and give it to other people. That also is devotional service. Any little aspect, and that brings about that actual immortality, because you won't be subjected to death again. You won't be subjected to it. So that's an interesting point. And then he's talking about pure devotees out of compassion for the fallen souls are kripalu, very kind to people in general. They distribute Bhagavata knowledge all over the world. So a devotee, one of the qualities of a devotee has 26 qualities: compassion, kindness, patience, all these different qualities. It's good sometimes for us to check whether we are developing these qualities. How kind I'm to others. How compassionate I'm to others. Do you check on that? That's important, because Kripalu means a very kind to people in general. There was a person, he's late now, Kripalu Maharaj, and Kripalu Maharaj was a very kind person. In the sense that in Vrindavan he was helping everybody. But basically, satisfying their material needs. They get prasadam, they'll get chapatis, and throughout Vrindavan, everybody, up till now, he's late, he passed away, but they love him. Why? Because of his kindness. He may not be in line with the philosophy, but because of his kindness. They have many buildings. One building in Varsana, they have a huge building. I mean, we used it, many times, that building. For initiation, Raghunath Maharaj use it. And he's very kind. And he put a huge temple made of Italian marble in Vrindavan, Kripalu Maharaj. So in that sense, he did a lot, but he may, but some people feel that he's an incarnation of Lord Chaitanya anyway. So that's another thing. But I'm just making the point that not necessarily, a devotee is only kind. People, you can be kind to people, and it doesn't cost you very much. But a purely kind person is a devotee, because he can give you the absolute truth. He leads you to the path of the absolute truth. And a kind-hearted devotee is called a Dinanath, protector of the poor. And Lord Krishna is called Dinanath or Dinabandhu, the master or actual friend of poor living entities. And that's the important point to note, that are we the friend, a genuine friend of all living entities? Are we? Krishna is the actual friend. And the point to note is that sometimes, you have a friend and you feel that you can do everything for that friend. Can you? No. So when you think that you can do everything for that friend, meaning that you are taking the position of Krishna. That's what it means. You never thought of it like that, huh? That's what it means. So we're not taking, we don't take we direct the person, we lead the person to say, to the Bhagavad, to the scriptures. This is what it's calling, you're leading the person back to the path of truth. We are truthful. And we lead the person back to Krishna, because he is your actual friend. What is that verse in the Bhagavatam? The Bhagavad Gita? Bhoktaram yagya tapasham sharva loka maheshwaram suhidam sarvadehinam gyatva santim druchati. Krishna is the beneficiary of all living entities, the demigods. The demigods as well. And he's the friend of all living entities. And when you come to this realization, you'll attain peace from the pangs of material existence. Then you will become peaceful. When you have this understanding that Krishna is the best friend. Because sometimes you think you're the best friend of somebody. Isn't it? But it's not like that. So he's talking about the best friend. And become the favorites of the demigods. And here it says that even the demigods can give you blessings to go to Krishna. So, and Prabhupada speaks about Lord Shiva. Generally people are interested in worshipping the demigods, especially Lord Shiva, in order to obtain material benefits. So we may want something from the devatas. We go and we worship them, and then you need something material. Once Prabhupada was in, I think probably South India, definitely in India, and there was a program in a very well-known person's home. So it was a small place, and the devotees could not, only the upper class was invited in, and each one had to offer a flower to Lord Shiva. And there was the devotees were thinking, what Prabhupada going to do? And everybody was offering, and Prabhupada just like flipped it back. And later when the devotees went there into the room and watched, then they saw that there was a statue of Krishna, a murti of Krishna that Prabhupada offered his flower to. But at the same time, we don't deride people like Lord Shiva or the Devatas. And that's another danger. Devotees deride the Devatas. We find quite often, like somebody is engaged in, and I meet so many people, and I met recently so many people, they engage in Kali worship. And they worship Durga, and they kill animals also. So what do you think about that? Is that right or wrong? Not right. Not right. Why? Yeah. Well, you can't say it's wrong, because that's in the scripture. Because for people on that level, if they engage in that form of worship, it's bona fide for the person on that level. The second understanding is that if you say it's wrong, then you are criticizing Vyasadeva, who compiled this literature. Thought about it. So we have to be careful. It may be not recommended for this day and age. The chanting of the holy names is to go back to Godhead. But at the same time, people worshipping Durga and Kali, they're still on the ladder. Yeah. So we have to be quite cautious that people will worship according to their desires, and Krishna fulfills those desires. Ye tamam prapajante tamstateva bhajami aham mama vatu manu vartante manusya sapartha sarvasa. As you surrender unto me, I rewarding you accordingly. But the next part is, everyone follow my path in all respects. So everything is chalked out by Krishna. See, we look at it only from one angle, but we don't like everything. What does it mean? What does it mean that everyone follows my path in all respects? It's 4:11. You know these verses? You have to learn these verses. Yeah. It says, everyone is searching for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestation. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence and as the all-pervading Supersoul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atom. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization. So everyone is following the path that is chalked out by Krishna. Got it? Everyone follow my path. But it goes on. It talks about so many different things. And goes on to Prabhupada towards the ladder. Yeah, then he goes on to explain. He quotes the verse on that purport. Akarma sarva kama moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param. So whether one is with desire or is desirous for, one is without desire or desire fruit of result or liberation, you should worship Krishna. So that is how we have to look at the scriptures, and then it goes on to speaking about the worships of the devatas. And then Prabhupada gives the example of watering the root. But sometimes people don't have faith that if in a tree, if I water the root, then the whole tree will be nourished. You don't have that faith sometimes. And therefore, you start watering the leaves. Isn't it? Then you say, no, I take the dust out from the leaves. But really, you don't have that faith. The underlying reasoning is. Isn't it? Because the tree will be nourished. So similarly, if one executes pure devotional service, surrenders to Krishna and take it seriously, then he will get the benefit. But Prabhupada, he rounds his purport, he says, and I'll read the last part. As by watering the root of a tree, the leaves and branches are automatically watered. So by executing pure devotional service to the Lord, the branches, twigs, and leaves of the Lord, known as demigods, are automatically pleased with the devotee, and they offer benedictions. So the devatas will offer you some blessings also. No, you can go to Krishna. Like Lord Shiva we were talking about, and we have Gopishwar Mahadev. And Gopishwar Mahadev is there at, in Vrindavan. And as a protector, doesn't allow people to just get in to the Ras Leela arena. So Lord Shiva, kind of is like, I wouldn't say security guard, but it's like security checkpoint, that you can't enter the arena. So Lord Shiva checks the person. And if you're not fully qualified, then you can't enter. But Lord Shiva was in the pastime was enjoying the pastime. Lord Shiva goes to, was it Mansarovar? But anyway, Lord Shiva was given a female body and was trying to enter those pastimes. But, then the coward girls, they saw that this person, hey, he's not from our village. Where is this guy from? Not from our community. Because to be in Krishna's pastimes, you have to be a coward girl or a coward boy. Otherwise you can't, especially the Ras Leela, it's for the coward girls, not just anybody. So you can't force yourself, and then he was taken out from that place. Because it's interesting, that I was explaining it on Bhakti Vinod Thakur's appearance day a little bit. Of when you go back to the spiritual world, you come from a particular village. You may come from Yavat, he may come from Varsana, or different parts, or from Nandagram. So people come from different village, they have their names. They come from a certain family. They have different ages, they are at a certain age. So that's revealed to a devotee. That revelation takes place to a devotee when he surrenders, specifically for us, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And when you read the books of the Goswamis, and all these things are revealed to us. All this is revealed to us. But we don't have to worry so much. By chanting Hare Krishna, this can also be revealed to us, or is the process of being revealed to us. And then we get those blessings, and then we can also enter those pastimes. We can also experience that. So, and we can get the blessings of the devatas. We can get the blessings of Lord Shiva also. Okay, I want to go, and he may. So, okay, this person is qualified. He can go. So you get the blessings of Lord Shiva, and then you enter the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Anyone should add anything? Take the microphone, please.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. What motivates people to do animal sacrifice? It's not devotion to devatas, but karma kanda. They always want something in return. And that can also rub onto some. I know of cases where a devotee, when he was unmarried, used to add this opinion is, he used to deride especially Lord Shiva. And when he married, he found himself childless, and then he prayed to Lord Shiva to have a child. So circumstances can change. People must just get the right perspective. Gods are gods, and we take in human birth in Kali Yuga. There's a big, vast ocean of difference, in status. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so the thing is, but at the same time, that people's desires are all different. And therefore the scriptures caters for everybody. So, like somebody asked Prabhupada, which is better, worshipping Jesus or worshipping Kali? And he said, worshipping Kali. Because it's in the line of the Vedas. You're on the lower level of the ladder, you're coming up. So you have to, so it's, people have different desires, like people change from one to the other. And the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas is part of the Vedas. It's dealing with fruitive activities, as you were saying, like you want something, then you worship, and then you get that. Thank you for that, Dayasindhu Prabhu. Anybody else want to say something? Okay. All right, we are at 8:30 now. So thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Srila Prabhupada ki.